Into every generation, podcasters are born. Two guys in all the world, chosen ones. They alone will wield the strength and skill to discuss the vampires, demons, and the forces of darkness, to lament the spread of their evil and the swell of their number. This is the Untitled Buffy Project.
Welcome to the 6th episode of the Untitled Buffy Project. This episode is called Wild at Heart, and it sees the departure of Oz from the show. After Veruca reveals herself to, yes, indeed, be a werewolf, could it have been any more obvious, her and Oz have some naked werewolf time, and then there's Commandos, and then Slayer, and it doesn't really turn out very good for anyone. This episode was written by Marty Noxon and directed by David Grossman.
What do you think? I hated the last one. I love this one. What do you think?
This is one of those ones that makes me realize how good of an actor Allison Hannigan is.
Oh my gosh, you read my mind.
She's great. I mean, she makes me cry.
Isn't she good? Can I also say that this is also one of those episodes where Marty Noxon, we recognize her writing.
She is a phenomenal contributor to the Buffy universe. Her and her partner David Fury are responsible for probably half of what the fans like about the show.
Oh, totally. Oh, totally. Absolutely. So we had an awesome action opening in this episode. It was a vampire. It was a vampire chasing Buffy. It was kind of cool. But then she turns around. And,
she's making all those normal like one-liner puns that she does.
And I will just say right here, I liked the old. I'm sorry. I liked the old Ash vampire effect.
You don't like the skeleton thing?
I don't.
I barely think about it.
I liked it when they turned to dirt. I don't like this.
Okay.
All right.
And then Spike, right?
Oh my goodness.
He's like, the big bad is back, honey.
He says big bad.
He says big bad.
He says it. And then he gets tasered by the military guys. Who are these military guys?
The commando men. What are they doing?
Shot. Who are these guys? Are you going to tell us?
Absolutely not. You're just going to have to wait.
Who are these guys? That was a great moment, because he is like all balls, like, you might be saying all your stuff you're saying, but I'm in charge now. And then he is like, oh my goodness. That was awesome. Like, when was, I think Buffy mentions at the end of the episode that the last time she saw those guys was the Halloween episodes.
Right.
But we've seen them even more than that.
Yeah, this show does a huge amount of surviving on dramatic irony, where we know just about everything that's going on. We see like all these different sides of everyone's story. We see Spike's story, and we will eventually see the Commandos story, and we see the Scooby Squad's story, but they don't see each other's stories.
One of my notes that I have is why can't Buffy find a nice guy like Oz?
Is that what you were thinking as he broke Willow's heart?
Well, this is early in my notes, and this episode, I just really want to call out Marty Noxon. This episode, I'm not sure. I don't think that I enjoy it more than Living Conditions. Maybe I do. This is such a great scenario that Marty put before us. And it starts out, before we actually get into the love triad.
Right. Oz, Veruca, and Willow.
Yeah, Buffy did well in class, and we get one of these great lines. Buffy did great on a paper, and her professor wants her to lead a discussion, and Willow says, "You made me jealous of you academically," and it was like a big deal. Like, yeah, you made me jealous of you academically. Well done, Buffy. Oh, I've never been that. Which I thought was fun. can I can I just say this? Oz, he is such a bad boyfriend with this Veruca thing.
Well, since I watched this multiple times, I got to see a couple things that I didn't notice the first time around. He, like, when Veruca eventually talks to him about what they are, she says something about, like, I've sensed you, haven't you sensed me? And since I watched it the second time, I got to see all the times that he does sense her. Like, you see, it's practically like a dog raising his ears and tail. Like, he's like, oh, I sense that thing again. And Willow's like, what's up? And he's like, nothing.
But he knew. Like, he is in the wrong. He should have told Willow and or Buffy that something is happening, and I think that his infidelity that happened later as a wolf, it's echoed by his not telling Willow that he knows something is happening.
Right. I mean, just because he lost his memory of what happened doesn't mean he doesn't have a pretty good idea of what happened.
He knows. He knows. And the like, what's going on between the two of them, it's so clear. I mean, it's so, it's crazy clear. And then they, like, end up, they don't show it, but they do it. They do it. They're all naked.
They're all wolfing out.
And he cheated. He totally cheated. And the question is, for someone, do you tell your girlfriend or your boyfriend that you cheated? What does he do? He doesn't tell her.
No.
He doesn't tell her. And that, like, oh, man. That ruins Oz's character for me. That was a big thing for me. I was really disappointed that he didn't tell her.
I know that I like scolded about bringing the author's intent into things on a vlog recently, but Joss has said that when Seth Green told them he was leaving because he wanted to, be in Austin Powers 2, no joke, it kind of like he was losing a main character, and he felt heartbroken, and he decided he needed to express that through the characters, and so someone needed to get their heart broken, and it got to be Willow.
I guess that's true, but nevertheless, I'm sure he's pretty clear that he had sex with that werewolf, and he did not tell Willow.
Yeah,
and
it's his animal. It's the animal inside him that won't obey his head.
There's an animal inside of Oz, and
it's inside of all of us, Carter. It's a metaphor.
I know, and that's why I love this episode so much, and that's why Marty Nixon is great. And I saw on the Wikipedia that she wanted to direct this episode, and she wasn't able to, but like she really felt like she connected with this. That's one of the reasons why I love this episode. It's one of those great taking a human moment and turning it into a Buffy moment.
Mm-hmm. Like at that one moment, Willow decides to do something about Veruca. She starts to like make a spell, and she can't bring herself to do it.
And then Veruca's right there.
Right.
And oh god, I this episode was kind of tough. Veruca shows up. It's around twilight, and she's about to turn into a werewolf and attack Willow. And Oz shows up. They turn into werewolves. They fight each other. He kills her.
Mm-hmm.
He kills her, and as a werewolf, it's unclear what he's about to do to Willow. But then Buffy shows up, and point to be drawn out, she is late to the party because she ran into some crazy military guy. Who is this military guy?
Who is this
She even
military
asks-
guy?
She asks Giles. God, I love Giles so much. Can we do a sidebar on Giles? I love him so much. He recorded an album that has vocals from some of the characters, from
I know.
people who. Oh my!
I've looked it up on
goodness,
Amazon.
Oh, I've listened to some of it. If you guys want to know who I identify the most with, it's Giles. It's Giles. So Buffy is trying to get to wherever Oz and this chick are fighting. Oz kills her, and then Willow kind of drags Oz away. It's pretty tough episode.
And a very
I liked
dark
it.
exit for Oz.
I don't know if this is right or not, and this might have to do with the fact that Seth Green decided to leave the show. Oz, as a character, decides, I don't think that I can figure out myself being with Willow.
Right.
I need to leave.
There is half of him that he can't reconcile. And it's
Right, he's a
uncontrollable.
He's a wolf. He's a werewolf. I'm not entirely sure that if Seth Green was willing to stay with the whole show, that they would have done this. I don't know. But that's what they decided. Seth Green left, and he left in his van. And oh my God, Willow.
She's a good weeper.
She's a good weeper. She broke down, and I will not lie. I kind of broke down watching her.
There were tears over here in the Martin household.
I hope she finds someone else.
How about
Ready?
you start this one?
Well, how do we start these?
Just jump in
Okay.
with a first thought.
All right. It's the 6th Buffy